What do you do when you want to move but you just can't sell your house? It's been on the market for months and all the viewings have dried up. Well, what you do is you stop selling and start swapping. House swapping is the latest trend to hit the property world. With around 10,000 properties registered with swap websites, it's a brilliant way to avoid the dreaded property chain and make that move onwards. We'll be meeting people who want to swap their home permanently.
That is so imposing. It's
ideal. Can't wait to have a look round.
And we'll show them 3 properties to find their perfect match.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to our house.
Come and have a look round.
We hope you've enjoyed our tour.
And we hope you pick us.
After a day spent road testing each other's properties and lifestyles, we'll bring them to the negotiating table where our straight-talking negotiator, Sunita, will help them thrash out a deal.
You're getting what you want, she's getting what she wants, and it all seems to tie in really well.
Before we find out if they'll swap homes for good. Hello and welcome to the gorgeous Newquay in Cornwall. Will you take a look at this? For a family that lives here, the tides have certainly changed as they're wanting to relocate up to the Midlands. Well, trust me, we've surfed high and low to find them the perfect house swap. Anthony and Emma Brewer have lived in Cornwall for the last 5 years, but with the arrival of their 2 children, Tommy and Joanna, are looking to move back to the Midlands to be closer to their parents. They're hoping to swap this Cornish cottage for a country retreat near Shrewsbury. Together, they've set up an internet company selling ecological products and are now looking to wave goodbye to this idyllic seaside life. Well, here I am at Anthony and Emma's house and I'm already enchanted, and I think it has something to do with the rather special location because unfolding in front of me are these beautiful emerald green hills spreading all the way across right up to the flock of sheep on the top of that one over there. And then behind me is the property itself tucked away behind the pampas grass. Now, which bell do I ring to get in? Do I ring that one or this one? It's 2 game show, isn't it? I like this one. Yes. In I go. Now, I don't want you thinking that I'm lazy, but I am quite a big fan of the low-maintenance garden, and I think that's exactly what we've got here. It's quite tropical looking, quite windswept and exotic. Ta-da! I told you it'd make a big entrance. OK, so the kitchen, quite an unconventional space for 2 reasons. One, it's a very unusual shape because it kind of narrows up towards that end. And secondly, it's on 2 levels. So some of your kitchen is up there and the rest of your kitchen is down here. However, having said that, it is full of charm, full of character, and you instantly feel like you're at home here and you just kind of want to hang out. So I'm sure nobody would mind if I helped myself to a freshly brewed coffee now, would they? Excellent, marvellous. Well, I won't tell if you won't tell, and I'll make you one in a minute. Moving on. Oh my goodness me, I wasn't prepared for this, but ladies and gentlemen, what I think we're dealing with here is quite a severe case of contemporary cottage chic, and I think it's handling it very, very well indeed. I like the fact the beams are painted in these light neutral tones rather than having a ribcage of darkness straddling your living quarters. Over here we've got a great big log burner, big plasma screen, loads of space everywhere, this solid, very light coloured parquet flooring, and then over here, if you happen by chance to live with a pony or a horse, this door is absolutely perfect. Of course, what's nice about a house like this, it's grown through time. It wasn't designed one rainy afternoon by a corporate architect who was making sure all the lines are straight. But through all its quirks, it has a kind of imperfect perfection, and therefore it has character. There's a guest bedroom cum study. And this playful bedroom currently occupied by Tommy and Joanna. Now, the master bedroom, what do we think of this? Well, well, again, it's a very, very simple style. There's no delusions of grandeur in here at all. But having said that, when you push your bed right up against the window like this, who needs pretentious decor when you can wake up with that view? This 3-bedroom Cornish cottage has been valued at £345,000. So, Emma and Anthony, beautiful house, amazing location. Why are you heading back?
We've had 2 small children, which you've seen, and you start to realise just how much you need grandparents around.
So you're going back for some free babysitting
Yep.
in the Midlands. Which parts do we like?
We fell in love with Shrewsbury when we were there recently, but what we don't want to be is too close to a big city.
Okay.
Or too close to the family.
Or too close to the
Or too close.
That's a very honest answer. Okay, so moving forward, what is it you're after? What would you really, really like?
As I say, 2 big rooms, 1 big kitchen, 1 big living room, that's enough for me. I don't want
it.
big houses, I don't want the maintenance, I want to spend the time with the children.
and a
nice-
bit more land to have chickens, to grow vegetables, and for children to run around.
What value of property are you looking for?
Anything between 250 and we can go up to
450.
about 400.
Is there anything else that you can maybe throw into the swap equation?
Yeah, we have another property in the Midlands, which again is up for sale. It's rented out quite comfortably, but we're willing to make a swap on that one as
Okay,
well.
this is the exciting bit. Do you want to see some houses?
Yes.
You ready for
Love
it?
to.
Let's do it. Are you excited about this?
Very.
Very good, because I am taking you first of all to the Shropshire-Herefordshire borders, and I'm going to show you a beautiful timber frame building, Tudor-esque in style and look, but it's only 10 years old. And you're about to meet a lovely lady called Jane, who's going to show us around.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Jane. Welcome to my home in the Shropshire-Herefordshire borders. Here's some of the character for starters. Come and have a look round with me. First of all, you come into the hallway, which, as you can see, is one of the main features of the house. It was built between 1995 and 1996, so it looks old, but in fact has got all the conveniences that you would want in a modern house. Here we have the lounge with the wood-burning stove and the oak floors. And now come on through into the kitchen. It's all individually made oak cupboards. Absolutely everything in them, so great space use. And here we are in the main bedroom. I think this must be one of my favourite places to actually sit in bed here, because you have fabulous views for the back. There's a lovely shot of the garden and the orchard. And here we come to the bathroom, which, as you can see, is a lovely restful shade of blue. This is another peaceful room, which I actually use as an office at the moment. This bedroom is about the same size as this one here. Through here is the annex. And I've got a tenant in here who's on a short-term lease, so that's useful rental income for anybody who wants that. And upstairs there's a bedroom. And from up here you can really see the extent of the land. The house is currently on the market at $499,950.
Jane's 3-bed Shropshire house with an extra annex also comes with over 2 acres of land. So what would she like to swap to?
I'd really like to move to a smaller place where it's a bit more manageable for me on my own, somewhere where I can start my new life.
Thank you, Jane. What a wonderful woman.
She was
Isn't she a lovely woman?
She was a good presenter.
Yeah, she was great, wasn't she? First up, what do we think of it?
Beautiful.
It is, it's lovely, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's got the huge land that you
Yeah.
wanted. It's got the views, space to grow your own veggies and
Yeah.
have your hens and, I don't know.
Love the surrounding area. The location, where it is in proximity to parents, is easy.
I make my mind up pretty quickly. I see it and I have it.
Okay.
Don't take long for me to make my mind up.
We like the house. We like the look of the house.
I think the price would be something that would have to be hammered out at some point.
And obviously there's the opportunity of a rental income from...
Well, that's a very, very important point. We're now off towards Peterborough. We are going to go and meet Gilly and Michael.
Yeah.
Now, they are quite proper. I think they're quite proper. So can you stop slouching? Sit up. Sit up
Just
properly
down that street, yeah.
as I introduce you to their lovely, lovely home.
Hello there, I'm Gilly and this is my partner Michael. We'd like to introduce you to our beautiful 6-bedroom detached house here in Barnack.
Come on in, let's show you around.
Come through.
Am I going to show them the kitchen now?
Yes. come on.
Okay. I'm the Gordon Ramsay of the family, but I don't swear as often as he does. Lovely 6-burner range, double oven, and go through from here. And we've got a lovely big utility room and into the garage. And off the garage is my office. When the fruits of my labours slaving in the kitchen have been prepared, we come through and put them down on the dining table. We can seat 8 comfortably and 10 in at a squeeze, but what can I
Darling,
say about a dining
That's
room?
negative, no.
Oh.
No, it's a table for 12 and we seat 12. We've got two leaves.
All right.
It isn't a squeeze.
Gilly's going to show you the sitting room.
In here, can you imagine the amount of entertaining we can do? We've got some fairly large pieces of furniture, but there's oodles of space. And the delight for me is leading off the sitting room is this beautiful conservatory. It really is our very, very favourite spot.
Unusually, because the house divides at this half landing, we've got an east wing, which I'm going to show you, and a west wing, which I'll let Gilly show you in a moment. We have a bedroom here, another bedroom, and this one is the room that we're using as a sort of relaxing second sitting room.
Now I'd like to show you the 2 newer bedrooms on this floor. There is the front bedroom, which has an ensuite shower room, and this, our own room, the master suite. And then we lead through into the ensuite shower room and bathroom. And this leads on to terrace or balcony. It's where we enjoy eating.
It's the balcony, Juliet. Yeah, and I'm your Romeo.
This garden is beautiful and it is so peaceful out here. We certainly expected to be here for many, many years to come, but if an opportunity presents itself, it would be a sheer joy to strike out and do something quite different. This house is currently valued at $495,000.
Gilly and Michael's Peterborough home has 6 bedrooms, 2 en suite, and a balcony off the main bedroom. So what are they looking for from a swap?
We're looking to either do a straight swap or possibly to find something that is valued for a little bit less money, maybe $350 or so, and it could be anywhere. I'm really hoping that our next venture is going to be a property which has charm, attractiveness and some quirky little features, something older, like me.
Do you know what? After watching that, I don't want to have afternoon tea with the Queen. I want to have afternoon tea with Gilly.
I know.
But it should be posh. It would be too posh, I feel.
It's a beautiful house, but
Yeah.
it just seems so immaculate and
We don't like immaculate, do we?
posh, and with 2 dogs and 2 children running around that, I think it would get wrecked. We'll keep an open mind until the end, though.
Okay, now a complete gear change. We're heading towards one of your favourite locations, beginning with S.
Shrewsbury.
Indeed, a village very near there. Beautiful period property, full of charm, full of character. I don't know if you're going to like this. It used to be an ale house.
Right.
And you're going to meet Heather.
Right.
And she's going to show us her house.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Heather, and this is my beautiful cottage in Shropshire, and I'm going to show you around today. This is my old key to fit a very old door. This was an ale house in the 17th century. People used to come here and have their ale, and it's got a nice single nook fireplace, and I love it because of the coziness. This is the room that my son and I use the most, I suppose. We sit here and watch television, mainly car programmes, if he's got anything to do with it. This room's lovely and cosy, especially in the winter, but also in the summer it's lovely. And this is the dining room where I have lots of dinner parties. I like cooking traditional food from the local farm shops. The kitchen is right next door. Through here. In here there's more space. I've had dishwasher, tumble dryer, washing machine put behind these cupboards. There's 3 good sized bedrooms. This one is the main bedroom, but I actually use this for my guests. And then there are these original oak floorboards. You can't get any like these today. This is my son Ben's room. He spends a lot of time in here, and it'd be a nice room for any child, really. This is my bedroom. I love it because it is so lovely and bright all the time, and I've got lovely views over the fields. And this is my lovely back garden. It's easy to manage, lots of shrubs, so you don't have to do too much gardening. And the sun is on it all day. It's south facing. Shropshire is a lovely county. I enjoy living here. It's very friendly, and the countryside is just gorgeous. I've had some valuations done a while ago now, and they were all at 325,000. But due to the market now, I think it's far better to put a reasonable price, so I'll put it on for 285,000.
Heather's Shrewsbury Ale House has 3 bedrooms, fabulous views and a detached garage. So what is her ideal swap?
I'm thinking of moving because I would like to buy somewhere that's slightly larger, so that I can have a spare room where I can maybe let it out or do bed and breakfast. Cornwall sounds quite nice because it's, you know, bed and breakfast would do very well down there, I think.
Right, so there we go. Honest opinions once again.
Too small.
Really?
Yeah, loads of small rooms.
There's a lot of positive sides of it. I like the walled garden in the back. I like where it is.
Okay, because it's Shrewsbury.
Because it's
That was
Shrewsbury, which is
your
where
favourite location. What you need to do now is have a little chat and work out which one maybe you'd like to see in the flesh. I'm not going to sit here and cramp your style. I am going to take my folder and my cup of tea out into the garden, and I'll see you shortly.
Okay.
All right? Right, now what was interesting about that, when we were looking at those properties, they kind of seemed to really like the first one, went a little bit tepid on the second, and then really cooled off on the third. So I have a feeling which one they're going to go for, but you can never be 100% sure. So I don't want to rush straight back in now. I'm going to give them a little bit of time to think about it. In the meantime, to occupy myself, will count the sheep in that field. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Whilst the brewers weigh up the pros and cons...
That's an option we can always look at. So the price isn't so scary then.
That's right.
Sunita, our house swap negotiator, has some advice. Sunita's been a property negotiator for over 10 years, helping hundreds of clients move onwards and upwards.
If you want to move house quickly, then house swapping could be the answer. Now, there are several websites out there that could help you find your perfect match. You will, of course, still have to have a HIPS report, and you will be paying stamp duty. But, crucially, you get to avoid a chain, and if you're not on with an estate agent, you avoid estate agent fees.
Sunita's invaluable knowledge will help our swappers negotiate a deal. But first we need to find out who the brewers have decided to swap with. Right, turning this back into a trio. I'm going to ask it straight out. Which one?
I think it's going to be the first one.
Really? Okay, let me see if I can be surprised. I'm not surprised in the slightest. The brewers have gone with Jane's 3-bed house with annex and over 2 acres of land. Still Still to come, Emma and Anthony sample the delights of the Midlands.
The view is just more than I thought it was going to be.
And Jane takes to the seas in Cornwall.
I feel a bit like Kate Winslet in reverse.
But brought together at the negotiating table, are they ready to make the swap?
How come they're asking me to pay more?
If she wasn't here, I'd be signing it away, the way you sold that to me.
It's time for the one-day house swap. Emma and Anthony are off to the West Midlands, nearer their family. While Jane heads to Newquay in Cornwall to see if her new start might be by the sea. But unlike a quick whiz round with an estate agent, they have the chance to exchange lifestyles for the day before deciding if a permanent swap is on the cards. Trained as a complementary therapist, Jane can move anywhere and is ready for a new adventure. But what will she make of Newquay? Situated on the north coast of Cornwall, it has a lot to offer, with its stunning coast and the most famous surf beach in Britain.
Oh, wow. This is actually bigger than it looks from the outside. Palm trees, fantastic. Oh, it's great. Must be a sign. I'm colour coordinated with the front door. Oh, wow. Now, this isn't what I expected from outside. This is great, because there's space here downstairs. Ah, the wood burner. Brilliant. This is really lovely. Right down the steps. So, utility type area there in the sink. And I love the openness there. And what a view out there.
And there is more to be pleased about upstairs.
Oh, this looks interesting. Oh, what a lovely big bedroom. I like the colour as well. And what a view. This would be my bedroom, definitely.
So Jane is loving Cornwall, but what will Emma and Anthony make of the Shropshire house? A much more civilised 1.5 hour drive from family, it might be just the right location.
It's a lot nicer than it looks on film.
We said we wanted remote.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. The window there.
It's a lot bigger, isn't it? In real life. It is amazing, isn't it? The wood.
That is it's so imposing. It's
Ideal. It's ideal. Can't wait till I look around.
Oh, that's unusual, isn't it?
Very. It's a bit Alice in Wonderland, isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it?
It's a clever little kitchen.
Oh, a little letter for us. Teas and coffee are in the left-hand larder cupboard. And she's told us where the mugs are. Oh, so we need to top up the feeder at the front so we can get birds. Enjoy, Jane. What do you think?
It'd make a better living room.
Do you think so?
Definitely.
But this is a nice snug area anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd probably do more of your living in here, wouldn't you? Should we put the kettle on? She's told us where all the tea bags are and everything.
Yeah.
Do you know, I feel so guilty I've not left her any tea or any milk out. Sort of hosts the weird.
You have left us some milk, haven't you?
No.
You threw it?
Yeah.
Well, being Cornwall, I'm sure Jane can milk a cow, or...
Ooh. A glass of wine, overlooking the palm trees, lovely garden. Oh, a space for my new man. Cheers.
Jane, I'll be right over. It looks like you've got it all planned out. Meanwhile, in Shropshire, Anthony and Emma are still on their house tour.
Nice big room though, isn't it? Eh?
It's beautiful, it really is. I think the height of it makes the room seem smaller enough anyway, but it's a huge room, it's lovely,
Yeah.
beautiful. She said she was very interested in spiritualism. Huge amount of books, my goodness me, it's a whole library of books on.
Bobby Robson there.
Where?
Yeah.
There's no Jackie Collins.
After a bit of snooping, our potential swappers inspect the grounds with plans to grow veg and have chickens. It could be all important.
Wow. That just puts a completely different perspective on it.
The house looks terrific from here.
It does, doesn't it? The view is just more than I thought it was going to be.
There's loads and loads of space for dogs, I suppose, isn't there? Eh?
I think we need more family. There's too much space here for us.
Steady on, Emma.
You could have a horse here.
Why would you want a horse, Anth? We're not interested in horse.
Aren't you?
Never been on a horse. Why would I want to use all of this land up on a horse?
It was just a suggestion.
Do you like it?
I do.
Wouldn't it be amazing if she did fall in love with the house and just wanted it? Eh?
Would be, wouldn't it?
Well, Jane's already in love with the house. Now let's see if she'll fall for the area too. And what better way to see Newquay than by boat?
Mystique. Sounds like a new perfume. Would that be a fishy smelling one?
Yeah, buy your friends a bottle, otherwise they'll think you're shellfish.
I feel a bit like Kate Winslet in reverse. I'm going in the opposite direction.
Well, Jane, like Kate Winslet, looking very windswept and exotic.
Although I've never lived by the sea before, I could really imagine myself here.
And she's already got herself a new job, at the helm of the boat.
You keep heading back to the harbour there, straight in front.
Fantastic. Yeah, turn the wheel. I'm going in totally the wrong direction now. And we're going back to the harbour over there,
yes.
and over there. I could get used to this. It's very relaxing, actually, isn't it?
You just
Oh, a seal!
There's a seal there.
Oh, wow! Hello there. Gosh, another thing to make my day.
Look like that sealed the deal. Meanwhile in Shropshire, Emma and Anthony have discovered the annex.
Oh. When I thought annex, I just thought, well, that's a nice ideal place where I can just stick my office and have some stock, but you couldn't use this for that. You'd have to use it as some sort of an income, wouldn't you? Do you want to look upstairs?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, look at those views.
That's nice, isn't it?
It is.
Tommy and Joe fight over this room, wouldn't they?
We'll have to have a look and see how much income can be gained from this, because the price of the house was more than we thought it was going to be, so this would make a difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would soften the blow.
It would soften the blow.
On a mission to find out more about a potential income from the annex, they're off to meet Neil, a friend of Jane's who works at a local hotel.
Neil, what do you think of the potential of renting Jane's annex out? Would it be a viable income?
Yeah, you should be able to. And you could even possibly link with us here.
Right.
To get any overfill from what we have, because there's not much other accommodation in the area.
Really?
Oh, right,
That's
that's interesting.
And while the brewers have been checking out rental prices, it turns out Jane has been checking out the local men.
The waiting's quite nice. A bit young, though, for me. The view is stunning. The sun's out. This is the life.
200 miles away, Emma and Anthony have made it to the nearest town, picturesque and medieval Ludlow. Being a market and fair trade town, it would seem churlish not to sample some of the goods.
So we've got about 120, 130 varieties of cheeses normally. Local Ludlow is very, very good area for fresh produce.
So it's not just the local cheese, there's lots of local vegetables and meats and...
Ludlow's got the envious name of being one of the food centres, even used to be better than London.
Oh, right.
At one stage, we had 3 Michelin star restaurants for a start off, all buying local produce. Whatever you want in Ludlow, you can get it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Enjoy your stay. Thank you.
With the briny breeze in our hair and cheese in our tummy, the one-day swap is almost over. Time for contemplation.
It's got all the rooms that I could want to have. I like the way it was done out, and yes, there's potential there, certainly.
countryside and the views and the hills are absolutely stunning, aren't they? They really are.
We obviously like this house, but negotiations need to be done.
But we do get caught up really quickly, don't we?
We do get caught up a little bit.
Our hearts rule our heads, so.
Well, they've put their hearts in each other's homes, but will our swappers swap for good? Time to use their heads. Well, our swappers have had a chance to experience their new lifestyles. Have Emma and Anthony really found their dream home in the Midlands? And did Jane really find a new home, boyfriend and job in just one single day? Well, it rather looks like it, doesn't it? But to find out for sure, we have our silver-tongued negotiator on standby to eke out the truth and help bring a deal to the table. Cue Sunita. Sunita Shroff has been helping people find their dream properties and agree the best price for them for over 10 years. She'll be using her expertise to negotiate a deal for our swappers.
Negotiating can be a tricky and even emotional process, and the properties won't necessarily be valued at the same price. So it's my job to get both sides to agree on a fair and realistic price to swap. But house swapping isn't all about the money. It's about avoiding that awful chain, potentially avoiding the estate agent's fees, and of course of months of your property being on the market. So if both sides are prepared to negotiate, they could walk away with a great deal.
Let's remind ourselves of what Sunita has to bargain with. Emma and Anthony have the 3-bed Cornish cottage valued at £345,000. But they also have the property in Birmingham, which they could use to extend their budget. This has been valued at £230,000. They're looking to move to a larger property with a bit of land closer to the family back up in the Midlands. Jane has the 3-bed detached house with the extra annex set in over 2 acres of land. Her home has been valued at just under £500,000. She's looking for a new adventure, and as a complimentary therapist, could Newquay be just the town for her new start? Now, first things first, what's the feedback?
Cornwall wasn't one of your chosen areas, was it?
I've never been particularly drawn to the coast or the sea before. I mean, I've liked it. I've gone for days and holidays there, but I've never really thought about living by the coast. And so I was just blown away, really.
What about the property? Let's talk about the property.
That was another surprise when I walked through the door and it was all open and I thought, that's rather nice. You know, on heart and soul level, I really felt like I belonged.
Now, you were looking to move back to the Midlands, so we found you something on the Shropshire-Herefordshire border, and it was somewhere that you hadn't been before, and you loved it.
I think when we were travelling there, it was just nice house after nice house and nice little village, and it just kept going on, and so yeah, we were impressed.
Don't think we were past a bad one, did we?
We were quite open about where we wanted to be because we work from home. We've got no ties to anywhere. We just wanted to be closer to the Midlands, that was all.
Now, what about the property? Tell me about that, what you thought of it.
Very imposing. It's beautiful. As soon as we saw it, you can't fault it.
It's very nice from the outside. If you could take a few walls down, it'd be ideal.
Yeah.
One big open plan room downstairs, fine.
That was the main thing. You walk in and separate to everything else is the living room.
Well, you could knock that wall down.
You could?
Yes, and I've spoken to
Have
a
you
builder.
really?
Yes.
That's right, isn't it?
So it is possible, and it's not expensive either. It's about £800 to £1,000.
Is that all?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, what do you think Emma and Anthony's Cornwall property is worth?
I was 345,000. That was a bit more than I was looking to pay.
In your opinion, what would you be prepared to swap at?
I would really be looking at the sort of 300 mark.
With all valuations, I generally tend to think that they are slightly overvalued, and realistically, if you knock 10% off both, that would be an achievable figure.
Sure.
But if we took their property down by 10%, down to 310,000,
yes,
we took your property, which is on the market at 500,000, down to 450,000, that would then mean that there's a spread of £140,000. How would you feel about that?
I'd have to weigh that up.
After some hard talking, Sunita has suggested that a fair price to swap would be the brewer's house plus £140,000 for Jane's property.
What do you think her property is worth?
We wanted to stick to our budget of 400,000.
You ideally don't want to spend more than 400,000. The property's on the market at 500,000. So that is a £100,000 drop. That's 20%. Substantial amount to drop.
I'm not saying the house is worth 400,000.
No, yeah, exactly.
I'm not knocking the lady's house. It's just that.
Yeah, it's our personal budget and circumstances. We're setting ourselves up for a huge amount of exposure financially.
What would you propose?
Well, if we were saying about this, the 400,000, which is what the figure that we had in mind for whatever property,
right,
we would be stretching ourselves basically another 50, 60,000, and that's what we can cover ourselves in easily, and that's fine.
So you're saying the spread would be, let's say, 60,000. Your property plus 60,000 for her property.
Emma and Anthony are reluctant to stretch their budget. Rather than going with Sunita's suggested spread of £140,000, they have started the bidding at just £60,000. But what will Jane make of this rather cheeky offer?
No.
No. Well, they feel that if it were on at 400,000, they would snatch it tomorrow, as I'm sure a lot of people would.
It's not my problem that they can't afford my house. At the moment, I do have a rental income from the annex, which is obviously useful towards the mortgage.
So maybe the annex could be the key to saving this deal.
The only other option is obviously an income from the annex.
Well, on a long let, that would be $450 a month. On a short let, I think you'd get $350 a week.
We're talking, say, 12 weeks maximum.
Yeah.
So that's another 3,500, 4,000 a year, which works out roughly the same as a long let. And that would probably cover the additions on the mortgage. Well, I'd think about this.
Okay. Leave you to think about it anyway.
The Brewers need to work out if they can afford to up their offer on the basis that the increased mortgage payments will be offset by the money raised by renting out the annex. It's definitely a high-risk option, but it could be worth it if they really want Jane's house.
We'd be doubling a mortgage, which is not something we wanted to do. I think that would be a little bit too scary to stretch that far.
It's 4 hours in and we've got nowhere. But Sunita isn't giving up on this negotiation.
In this instance, for this house swap, they're both really compatible.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting what you want, she's getting what she wants, and it all seems to tie in really well. The only problem, obviously, is the money. But what about bringing the other property into it? So your property and the little one up in Birmingham.
I can't say yes, definitely at the minute, so I worked out some numbers in my head.
Do you want to think about it? Why don't you have a little think about it? I'll even get you a calculator.
Sunita has suggested that the Brewers throw their second property into the swap. The combined value of the two properties is £575,000. This would mean that Jane would get two properties, but would then have to pay the Brewers.
Right, Jane, there's something new on the table here. The straight swap really wasn't going to work, but they've got two properties.
Okay.
They've got their property in Cornwall and they've got their property in Birmingham. It's currently being rented out for $750 per month, and if you want, it has got a tenant for the next 2 years. So that's guaranteed income.
Okay.
How does that sound?
I was looking to be downsizing, so not to be adding more to my commitments. However, if rental income from one or other of the properties meant that overall the figure was affordable, then I would have a look at it. Let me weigh it up.
I've suggested that Emma and Anthony, who have another property in Birmingham, throw that into the mix so they've got two properties for Jane's one.
Okay, so it's a 2-for-1 deal being the operative word.
It is indeed.
But it's a lot to think about, isn't it?
It is, and I've left them thinking.
Okay, well, don't leave them thinking too long. So the 2-for-1 offer hasn't been rejected, but we need to work out how much the brewers think Jane should pay.
What sort of figure would you go up to?
Okay. Shall I run through the figures?
Go for it.
If you're still looking at 2 properties,
For one?
for one, I would like that figure to be nearer to £125,000.
You'd go with the 2-for-1 swap, but Jane's got to pay you £125,000.
We didn't want to do that for a house unless it was spot on perfect. That second property is our nest egg.
The brewers like Jane's house enough to consider throwing in their retirement fund. They've offered the 2 properties for Jane's one, but they would also like £125,000 on top, which is £50,000 above the valuations.
How come they're asking me to pay more for the 2 properties?
It's their pension, really. So it's worth so much more to them.
Yes.
So that's why it would have to be a lot more equity to make it palatable.
Well, the option of paying £125,000 is a definite no.
How much do you think you would be prepared to pay for their 2 properties?
It's obviously subject to mortgage and valuations and all of that, but maybe looking at 100,000. Just, I need to have another look at the figures.
So, to the 2 properties for your one property, with you paying 100,000, is that something I can put on the table?
Yes.
It's taken a mammoth 8 hours of negotiations, but we finally have a deal on the table. Jane's property plus £100,000 for the brewers' 2 properties. But is everyone prepared to swap? It's decision time. Well, there we have it. There is a potential deal on the table as far as I understand. You are holding large golden keys. They could unlock the key to new futures. We're about to find out. So, please, Emma, swap or not, turn it over. It's a green. We've got half a deal. Over here we've got... I'm not speaking to you anymore. Why have we got a red key here?
I'm at that stage where I'm looking to reduce my commitments and responsibilities, not add to them.
Your green key. You obviously like the house a lot and we're wanting that deal to work.
We compromised and tried to negotiate as well, but at the end of the day, it's not quite there.
It's not to be. Do you think, Anthony, there's any pathos we can leave with today?
Oh, loads.
Good? Loads?
Looking at the financial side of things, we'd sort of resigned ourselves to the fact that it wasn't going to happen.
Never thought about Cornwall, absolutely adored it, fell in love with it, would definitely look at that area.
So close and yet so far. If you can handle more drama and more tension, then join me next time for another house swap.